do no such thing.
Yeah, you guys look like you're
You just don't want to have to break
You guys
it.
ready? We're live. Good evening. Welcome to the regular Piqua City Commission meeting Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. Let's start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Will the clerk call the roll of the Piqua City Commission?
Commissioner Hines,
here.
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Mayor Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Foat.
Here.
All right. We're going to change the order up a little bit. I've got two proclamations that I want to do, and then we're going to do the roll call for the Piqua Health Board and then the joint meeting with Washington Township. So we're changing up a little bit. Oh. Evening, gentlemen. First proclamation is for Catholic Schools Week. Brad, will come forward. Hey, Chris, turn it on. Is it on?
There you go.
All right. Whereas each year, the Archdiocese of Cincinnati designates 1 week during the year to highlight Catholic Schools Week. And in 2021, I'm pulling this down, sorry. The week designated will be January 31st through February 6th. And whereas the legacy of Piqua Catholic School will live on for many more years, excuse me, thanks to the dedicated administrators, teachers, and students, as well as a very supportive community. Therefore, I, Chris Lee, Mayor of the City of Piqua, do hereby proclaim January 31st through February 6th, 2021 as celebrating Catholic Schools Week in the City of Piqua. Anybody taking a picture?
Aw.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next is a proclamation for Optimist Day. And I read this one previously, but here to receive it is Jen Vetter Bush. She'll come forward. And I'll just read part of it if you don't mind. Whereas volunteers working with young people who are our joy of today and our hope of tomorrow are exuberant representatives of the potential to be reached and dreams to come true, they are also unbounded in their enthusiasm in their use of their own talents, skills, and hard work to make a difference in others' lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Piqua Commission hereby proclaims the first Thursday of every February as Optimist Day, and we can call this observance to the attention of all our citizens. May this day instill pride in our city optimists for all their accomplishments and for the impact they have truly make a difference in others' lives. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Bye. Thank you.
Next is a roll call for the Piqua Health Board meeting.
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson, Commissioner Hines,
Here.
Commissioner Foat,
Here.
Mayor Lee.
Here. And apparently, we have the consent agenda. for the Piqua Health Board?
So we have one item on the consent agenda this evening, and that's just the approval of the minutes from the January 19th, 2021 Piqua Health Board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll call then for an adjournment.
I move that the Piqua Health Board meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned from the Piqua Health Board. Next is a joint meeting with the Washington Township Trustees and Piqua City Commission. Can I have a roll call of the Piqua City Commission and the Washington Township Trustees?
Commissioner Hines,
Here.
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Mayor Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Foat,
Here.
Trustee Hartley, Trustee Lang,
Here.
Trustee McMacken,
I make a motion that we recognize Mr. McMacken is gone to warmer climates in South Carolina and won't be back. And I ask that we excuse his presence here.
I'll second that. Lucky
Can we
man.
all go?
All right, moved and seconded. We are all here. What we have first is the consent agenda.
So on the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes from the August 18, 2020 joint meeting of the Washington Township Trustees and the Piqua City Commission.
Can I get approval?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 18th, 2020 joint meeting with Washington Township trustees in the city of Piqua.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We have next new business for the, with the Washington Township trustees.
We have two items under new business this evening. First one being resolution number R-7-21, a resolution authorizing the sale of real property from Forest Hill Cemetery.
Your Honor, this parcel has to do with a tract of land that's in the south side of the cemetery, and it has been put up for sale. It's actually an existing house. It's been there for a long time. The cemetery is looking at selling that asset to help build a storage facility on the cemetery site. They went out they actually did close bids on this, and just Logan Giozzi was the highest bidder. The contract is included. Part of the contract also states that he has to annex into the city of Piqua.
All right, any questions from any of the commissioners or the trustees?
I had one question. I thought we already authorized the sale of this property, so is there,
Why? Is it because the property is the cemetery is a union cemetery, meaning it comes from the city of Piqua, and also the city of Piqua owns it, and so does the township. And for formalities purposes, to give the board of trustees of the cemetery also have to vote on it, and it just authorizes the sale of the land, and that's the reason for the resolution.
okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? No other questions. I will take a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-7-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. And the next resolution, number R-8-21.
A resolution appointing a member to the Board of Trustees of Forest Hill Union Cemetery.
And again, this item is regarding the cemetery. The commission and the trustees appoints the trustees appoint a member and the city appoints a member to the board of trustee, or there's one member from each entity. And it's my understanding Ms. Pearson will be the person that will be appointed again. She has been serving for a period of time.
She has, and she's doing a great job.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone on this resolution? No questions? I'll entertain a motion then.
I move we adopt resolution number R-8-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. This time I'll ask for a motion to adjourn from the joint township meeting, or joint meeting with the township, Washington Township.
Make a motion that we adjourn our joint meeting with the township.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gentlemen, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Have a good evening. Try and stay warm. It's gonna get cold. Next on our rearranged agenda, thanks to me, is the consent agenda.
So we only have one item on the consent agenda this evening, and that's approval of the minutes from the January 19, 2021 regular Piqua City Commission meeting.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. Now on to new business. We'll start with resolution number R-9-21.
A resolution to levy assessments to pay for the cost of nuisance abatement. Amy Welker will be presenting the staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before you in this resolution are nuisance abatements. Throughout the year, the city receives complaints regarding conditions on properties, and an inspector will evaluate those conditions to determine if there is a violation of city code or city ordinance. If there is a violation, the property owner will receive a notification that there's a violation, and they're given a time frame with which to correct that violation. If they fail to correct that violation, then that situation is abated by the city. We hire contractors to either mow grass, pick up trash, whatever the nuisance situation is. The city then bills the cost of that abatement along with administrative fees and any penalties back to the property owner. If they fail to pay those costs, then it comes before you as a nuisance assessment. The city can present these costs to the county auditor to be placed as a lien on the property tax. We present these to you 3 to 4 times per year to give property owners and potential buyers notice that there is going to be a lien on the property. The county auditor then, once per year, will place those liens on the property tax.
I just had one question and a comment. This seems smaller than it typically is, which is, although we are at the beginning of the year, so that's part of it, I think, as well. Most of these are entities or individuals, but one of them is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. And can you speak to why they aren't paying their fees, maybe?
Yeah, a lot of times these properties are switching hands quite a bit. Most of these are vacant properties, and no one was really taking responsibility for them. So it could be a case where it has now fallen back into the hands of HUD, or they, that's a very large organization, and even though we may send those invoices and notices, it takes some time sometimes to work through their processes.
Okay. I also noticed, just having looked at this for 5 years, some of the same names are on here for 5 years. I mean, yeah.
Yes, and usually those are vacant. Either the property owner is deceased or there's some other reason that they're not taking care of the property.
Any other comments from commissioners? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-9-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Next.
Resolution number R-10-21, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund, RLF, agreement with the State of Ohio Development Services Agency for the period January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2023. And Chris Smeezing will be presenting the staff report.
Thank you. This item pertains to a fund or an account that we maintain, which is where we receive as loans are paid back from CDBG programs that we've administered. So previously, we had the Downtown Revitalization Facade Grant Program, you may recall, about a year or two ago. All those funds have been expended. Folks have made facade improvements and other improvements to their buildings. Some of those dollars go out as grants. Some of those dollars go out as loans. So as those monies are received back in on payments from the loans and the interest amounts, they're deposited into this account that the city is required to maintain under the program. Likewise with the micro enterprise loan program that we maintain, as those dollars are loaned out, as the funds are received back in the form of monthly payments for the loan amount and the interest, they're deposited back into this account. So what this agreement does is through the Ohio Department of Development Services Agency, Office of Community Development, it puts into place the formal language in terms of how the program is required to be administered and the compliance and monitoring requirements that our office is obligated to. We coordinate, I should say, Janelle Ranley in my office, our program development manager, does a very good job of coordinating with the state representative who we keep in contact with regarding the program, and then also with support and assistance from finance in terms of doing the proper accounting work and making sure we track the funds properly. So this is we wouldn't call it a housekeeping item, but it's a routine item. Every 3 years, we renew the contract per ODSA's requirements. And it's what allows us to keep those funds in that account and be able to utilize them for the things that the revolving loan program plan allows us to use it for. Happy to respond to any questions.
Any questions? Has anyone ever defaulted on any of the loans that we've given out?
I wouldn't say never. It's not common. We do work very closely with the individuals to vet them beforehand. I think during COVID, we had a couple folks where we deferred payments for a period of time,
Sure.
trying to work with our small businesses who had received those monies. But generally speaking, the monies are all paid back, and we do pretty good with that.
Good. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-10-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And the next resolution?
Resolution number R-11-21, a resolution authorizing a purchase order to Barrett Paving Materials, Inc. as the primary supplier and Valley Asphalt Corp. As a secondary supplier of 402 and 404 asphalt for the 2021 street and alley maintenance program. I had Brian Brookhart to be presenting the staff report. He's not here, so I'm not sure. Cindy? Okay. Cindy Holsapple's going to present that for us.
Thank you.
He's probably tired.
Brian's probably tired.
That's, yeah.
Good evening. About this time every year, we go out for bids in anticipation of our spring and summer paving program. And so as you'll note, we did that on January 8th, and we received, I think it was 4 bids? Yes, 4 bids, and we're requesting tonight that a purchase order be authorized to Barrett Paving as a primary supplier and Valley Asphalt Corp. as the secondary supplier of the 402 and 404 asphalt for the 2021 street program. Now, we're requesting the 2 because depending on how the asphalt is available and for delivery, and also sometimes we go down and pick it up. So by having a primary and a secondary, we can be sure to maintain the schedule that the street department wants to do.
So I see, oh,
Normac?
yeah, I was looking at the ones, the bids here. I do see 4, it looks like only 3 for the 402 and 404, which is what's in question in this resolution, if I agree. But the Normac company, I see, has the lowest bid. So you may ask why we're looking at Barrett.
It has to do the location of the plants and the delivery cost, even though what you're seeing in terms of Middletown, Franklin, Cincinnati, both Valley Asphalt and Barrett have more local locations that are closer, and so the delivery charges that are anticipated would be lower in the overall cost.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question. You beat me to it. But,
Oh, sorry.
I had the same question. And it's been answered. Any other questions? If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number R-11-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for that. We'll next move on to public comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the city commission regarding agenda items, or issues, or to provide information. And we have none. Well, that's not true. I did get one from Steve Trossel. He's on the tree committee, and he wanted to know if we could raise the level of tree committee members from 5 to something like 9 to 11. And I just want to get the opinion of the commission on that. Being on the tree committee, there's a lot of good stuff going on. The trees in the downtown area are going to get changed, which is exciting, and some other projects that they got. But the more people we have, the more representatives that we have for the city. So I'm all about that. I don't have a problem with that. I just want to know what you guys think about it.
There's 5 on there now, is that right?
I had a guy at Christmas time that was upset with the Christmas tree and wanted to donate stuff, and I said, well, why don't you get on the tree committee? And he's going to get on the tree committee. I sent him a copy of the application, so I don't think he sent it back in yet, but I'm sure he will.
Good,
So,
Are there vacancies right now?
there's no vacancies. That's why we want to raise the limit.
Then that's just to be on the committee itself, and, or it's just people wanting to be involved in, like,
Both.
for projects.
Both.
Like I said, I agree. If you have more people on, I always think that's, that are interested. Do you see as being a part of that committee, having more decision makers on there causing conflict?
I don't see it as conflict. I see it as more opinions make better decisions overall. So the more diverse opinions that we get, if they are diverse, the better representation we have from the citizens at large. So, and I'm not saying that just one person makes the decisions, but it's not a bad thing to have 5 to 9. We may only get 3 more people, but if we have a limit of 9 and we get 8, that's great. It's better than what we have, so.
Anytime I think we get citizen involvement, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I agree. So, Mayor Lee, what was the reason for, I mean, is there some precedent on numbers of the committees, or were they just kind of
That I know of.
randomly set? Is that?
Frank, do you know of anything that would limit us to just 5?
I'd have to look into that. Essentially, the committees are established by charter. This one's actually, I'm looking at it, is not by charter, by ordinance. There's an ordinance established in 1976 and amended in 1980, 82. And I would have to look at that code section. Right
Well, we
now,
can
my
look at
guess
it.
is it sets it at 5, and that ordinance would probably have to be amended.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if there's something
If we
legal.
need to amend it, that's fine. Another thing that we want to amend is the Community Diversity Committee. I've been getting hit up on that. So that's something else you can look at. I I've got language on that I want to send to you to see about amending that, and amending the tree committee as well. If you can look into that and advise us,
Yes, I can.
I appreciate it. So there were no other public comments other than that. So we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. We had no response last week last meeting at the January 19th meeting from the public, so there's nothing to report back. I would like to thank the Public Works crews and the other city staff that participated in 3 days of snow and ice removal. I have some details about what they accomplished over the weekend for the residents and businesses. So we had 7 plow trucks out on 7 routes. They traveled 1,460 miles. They put down 343 tons of salt and spent 223 labor hours in the truck. So that equates to a bill of $34,255 to the city for labor, equipment, and materials to fight 3 days of snow and ice.
Wow.
Thank you for the update on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's detailed, it lets the citizens know exactly how long those guys are spending in the trucks. We don't have that many people doing the trucks, and so those are long, long days. And I think they did a good job. I really do.
Yes, they did. And I would just like to remind the public too is, when we do go down the street, there's no way to avoid the windrow of snow at the end of your driveway. So please try to time your snow removal with your driveway after our plow goes by. We'll do our best to have that snow pushed past the driveway, but with all the parked cars, it's really difficult. Even an experienced driver or operator would have a difficult time.
And we don't want people putting snow in the street. We want them to put it right away.
Correct. They should store all snow on their property. They can be ticketed by the police department if they push the snow and store it in the street. That's simply because it creates a roadway hazard. So if there's a pile of snow in the street and it refreezes and somebody was to have an accident, that could create an issue. So we would ask, and it's a contractor issue usually with snowplow removal.
Okay.
Your Honor, on the tree committee, you actually have 7 members that can be not appointed. The city manager serves as one. You can have 1 commissioner, and then you have 5 members who can be citizens of the city. So I don't know if there is a need to amend it.
Well, might want to ask Steve that. He's the one that brought it up. He wants it expanded to 9.
The commission establishes it, so whatever the commission would like, I can change the
Okay.
order.
Thank you. Any questions for the city manager from the commission? Nope. Thanks for doing a good job. You keep amazing me. I like it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next is the commissioner's comments. We will start with Commissioner Foat.
Drawing a blank tonight. Had a long day at work, but yeah, I want to thank the city staff for all the snow removal that they did out there. We got a lot of bridges in our town. We got a lot of hills in our town, and to see the city staff put their most time and effort into trying to keep those clear for emergency vehicles and also for our businesses to be able to conduct business on the weekends, I can't say thank you enough for that. So if you could please pass that along to the staff, I'd greatly appreciate it. Did receive some complaints about, the snow being pushed up onto the sidewalks over the weekend. The city manager already touched on that. We have to be diligent as citizens of Pickwood to do the right thing and, keep our sidewalks and our driveways clean and understand that the city has their job to do as well. So, I just ask citizens be diligently working on that and work with the city as well as they're working with us to keep the roads and sidewalks and streets clean for us. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Pearson.
I would like to thank the street department. I live on Covington Avenue, and it's one of the major roadways through Piqua for our fire and ambulance, and it was clear, and there was never a problem. I would like to remind folks to get out and clear off their hydrants.
Yes.
There were a lot of people that shoved the snow up onto the sidewalks, but the fire hydrants were in the way. February is Heart Month, and since it's winter and I saw the temperatures this weekend going to be down in the sub-zero, that it might be a good thing to check on your neighbors, or if you know of somebody that is alone, to give them a call or stop by and ask them if they need anything, so that they don't have to go out into the frigid.
Check their furnaces.
Yeah, check their furnaces. And by the way, looks like the groundhog saw a shadow, so we're in for 6 more weeks.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is fun. Commissioner.
I don't have a lot either. Again, thank the city staff for all their work with the snow removal. We haven't had a snow like that in a while, so it was nice that they were right on top of it. I had a few questions come to me about, like, do we put brine down? Do we take every measure possible, but also do it smart and economically as well too. And getting the updates regularly was awesome, because I was able to, on social media as well, trying to help keep people updated. You know, there was concerns, were we out there? A lot of times when you say we're running 7 trucks 24/7, doing everything they can, people are very appreciative. Saw a lot of good comments on that, and I think a lot of people understand that we do hit up the main streets, the hills, the emergency routes first, and then the secondary streets we try to get in the next 24 to 48 hours after the snow system passes too. So big thanks to everyone within there. But also I did, I was pretty excited. I had a snowblower I haven't used in 3 years. So.
There we go.
I know, I was out there. But I saw a lot of neighbors, somebody did like almost all the streets down Washington. I mean, the neighborhood, at least in my area that I could see, people were really helping their neighbors, making
Yep.
sure people could get through. I mean, that
I know Judge Rapp did Park Avenue.
Did he?
Yeah, he did a
Yeah,
lot
that-
of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just great. I love seeing that neighborly help with each other. So.
That is nice.
And really, that's all I had, except for, you know, I do think we got a lot going on. We're working a lot for 2021, and I think I'm really excited to see how we're starting to move forward.
We are moving forward with a lot of help.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Commissioner Hines.
I also just want to say a huge thanks to Brian Brookart and our Public Works Department. They were, and I think it's important for folks to know that, you know, it was snow events are different as to how the snow falls. And one of the things that Mr. Burkhart shared with us is as soon as they got the streets plowed, they were covered up again because of the way the snow was falling. So it is a hard, hard job to keep those things covered, to keep them uncovered and to keep our streets safe for us to travel. So they were out just really pushing it, and we do thank them for all the good work that they've done. And that's all I have.
All right. All right, for me, I just have a question. I was hit up on Facebook by Brian Quinter, who owns a sign shop downtown. And I have a question for the city manager about the planters down there. I know they get hit. I know you're working on this. But if people don't see any progress or see us working on it, they don't believe it. So can you detail briefly what steps are being taken? I know there are patrol efforts down there. I've seen them down there. I've seen the officers down there. But Brian, to his credit, will capture on his camera all kinds of people going the wrong way, turning the wrong way, hitting the planters. And I said, I know, but this is being addressed. And I want him to be patient, but.
Yes, sir. So, Mayor, I can just tell you that it's almost impossible to engineer the world from people's, poor behavior.
Yeah.
And I've only been here a month, and I've noticed some folks that, obviously don't obey the law. They've run into the planters. It's really difficult when you look at trying to establish a business route, the infrastructure or changes that are required to move the trucks out to a bypass, the amount of money and the amount of years that it takes to get that process through ODOT. So what we're going to do is take kind of a zoom back out at 30,000 feet. I've got the planning department as well as engineering. We're going to sit down and really look at some of the maintenance and capital projects that we have. And in terms of, creating a safer environment for the shopping district down there, We don't necessarily want to increase speeds. There's, I would have to say as well, enforcement component that the police chief is going to have to address with his staff. There are certain peak periods of the day where you're going to see
Yes.
more of that behavior.
Yes.
And without cameras at the intersections, it's hard to understand what time of day that is. But I'll be working with him to make sure that we have extra patrols during the AM/PM peak. And again, with the truck traffic, it's going to be just very difficult to control that. One of the things that we can do, though, is slow down traffic by, creating limited lane widths.
Sure.
And some other features that we're going to be discussing as a executive team. So that conversation is going to take place over the next couple of weeks. What I'd like to see is after the department heads have a chance to speak with their staff, we're going to put together at least a schematic plan with some milestones. Again, it's going to be limited by our availability to spend out of the CIP and also with maintenance funds. But anything that we can do that has minimal cost, as in increasing the enforcement, that's something that we can do immediately.
Appreciate that. And I will pass it by. I'm going, probably stop by his place tomorrow after work or Thursday and let him know that this is definitely being addressed. This is something he needs to pay attention to, and that we are giving it due attention. So,
And if he'd like to contact my office and make an appointment, I'd be happy to speak with him.
I agree. I will let him know that.
All right.
Thank you. Also would like to thank Brian Brookhart and all the street department employees that put a lot of time in. They were working 12-hour shifts and over 3 days. I mean, haven't done that. That's not fun, but it was necessary. The roads are drivable. I did have a few people call me about them, but they were being addressed. The issues were being addressed, and I appreciate all the hard work the street department has put in. Next on my that I'd like to talk about is February is Black History Month, and I want to direct everybody, if you get a chance, hop on my Facebook page, and you'll see each day I will have someone different to celebrate Black History Month. George Washington Carver was today. Little information about him, and the guy that created the sprinklers systems was an African American. And that was for yesterday. So just tune in. But I briefly want to talk about my favorite African American that I like discussing during the month of Black History Month, and that's my dad. And his name was Robert E. Lee, and he wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a general. But he had an 8th grade education, and yet he could help me with my high school chemistry, high school physics, and my English. He read a lot. He loved to read, and he was very knowledgeable, but he had more than just book sense. He had a lot of common sense, and he passed a lot of that on to me. So I'd like to thank him for being a good teacher, a great man, and letting me know that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And he never held me back, never told me that I couldn't do anything. And he said all of us, he had 5 kids, and he said all 5 of them loose and said, do what you want. So I appreciate that. So with that said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have, and I don't think I do. So I'll ask for a motion to, well, we're going to adjourn to executive session, it looks like.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Second.
All right.
40. Okay, I'm out of here.